Welcome, my amazing individuals. So, I get so many requests to know why our neuro nutrition program, the Bring the Fun Back to Mealtime program, is as successful as it is to overcome not just picky and sensory eating, but to have children literally go from being nonverbal to words to potty training while using just food. So I want to offer, first of all, a lot of people ask me about my credentials. So my name is Natalie Pelto. I spent 21 years in healthcare. I was specific in diagnostics, so I understand very well how the body works inside. I specialized in CT, which is CAT scan, angiography, bone mineral density, fluoroscopy, and so every which way within the body and pathophysiology I do know. So now saying that, I'm not here to spout about my credentials. My real credentials when it comes to understanding picky and sensory eating for your child is both from my own personal experience, firstly, because I think that's extremely important, is my son was one of the pickiest children I ever met. He only ate three foods: chicken nuggets, French fries, and grilled cheese, and apple juice. And also, from a professional standpoint, where I did a specialize after 8 nutritional certifications, I did one in advanced brain development with nutrition that also encompassed neophobia, which is the aversion of food, specifically for autism and ADHD kids. So going into this, I have this experience, but the goal of this video is to help you to understand how we put it all together. So, how we help individuals in our neuronutrition flow is by being very intentional with what we introduce, making sure that we have the ability to introduce it through what I like to call vehicles, which is the nutrition that these children are already consuming. It's not about recreating the wheel, constantly offering new foods. That is too early for most children in the stage when they start. Children with autism and ADHD suffer from oversensitized systems. Their nervous system is also very overrun. And they also have a lack of neural pruning, which means that everything in their environment causes sensory overload. And this can lead to meltdowns, aversions of foods, sensory processing with textures, and then sensory processing with smell, touch, etc. Now, how we overcome this is very strategically. We support healthy neuron production with nutrients that are in foods because it has a twofold where it supports microbiome diversity, lowering inflammation, also known as mitochondrial dysfunction, and also supporting specific brain development. So many of the foods that we start our children on are actually pretty tasteless and are easy to bridge in. Even when a child has food allergies, we have seen many children overcome them very easily and really get to the gains and growth. Now, what does it look like to be like that's basically the flow, how we like to make sure that these kids are able to address their nutritional deficiencies is by using what's working. We call them the vehicle, and then we fade things in. That is stage one. Stage two is about creating the adventurer in your child. This is about helping our children rebuild their relationship with food. There is absolutely no point in you forcing a child to have a relationship with food that is unhealthy. I have many DMs with adults that are neurodivergent and who have told me my relationship with food is broken because my mom made me eat this. That is not the goal. The goal is that you have the tools and foundations to help your child enjoy food in a way that makes it fun for them so that when they leave the home, I'll give you an example. My son, who does not like mangoes, will enjoy mangoes in a smoothie. And so he knows that he can still have some of the foods that are not most enjoyed in a different way. And he believes in diversity and he knows how to eat the foods in a way that is in his preferences. So he enjoys healthy food. The relationship is made, not broken. Now, that's a little bit of the process. And then we have our negotiator stage when it comes to foods that we want our children to eat that are going to speed recovery, or I don't want to call it recovery, but speed growth gains and milestones. These are foods that for parents are look like broccoli, that we all, our kids all have one food that they like to avoid that we would really love them to eat. So we teach healthy compromise, influence, persuasion through our program, which is not offered in many programs. We focus also on the parent aspect, where serving food to these kids takes a parent that is very emotionally intelligent. They need to have a way of seeing through a different lens, because the lens that most parents are seeing from, myself included, used to be that I was afraid. I was so PTSD'd from rejection that I created the problem or exacerbated the problem a lot. So we take an approach that creates connection versus rejection. Now, those are a little bit of the framework, the neuronutrition flow. We prioritize nutrients that are simple to add, like I said. We use the foods that are working. So it is very, very effective, and it's effective quickly. We've had kids, in an example, we have a family that came from Jamaica where it is very hard to get ingredients. That child only ate ramen, one pack, one type of noodle, one type of flavoring. And the goal for this family was that they really, really wanted that child to eat a diversity. And I said, well, what does that look like for you? What is your dream? And she said, well, I'd like him to eat a stir fry with us, with vegetables and mixed foods. 3 months, he was already eating different noodles, different vegetables in there. And within under 6 months, that child was eating everything that they were eating, including her dream food. Now, what did that look like, though, in his assessment for the ATEC score, which is the Autism Research Institute score, which we use to make sure that we are monitoring progress and that we see changes in these kids, which will eventually be researched shortly. Now, seeing that from this perspective, this is a program that we focus on data and information. And what that family saw was in just 3 months, that child had dropped their ATEC scores by over 30 marks, which means a completely different child in many cases. The lower the score, the better. Now, saying that, that's the framework. Now, how are the nuts and bolts of this program delivered? What does it look like? So in our program, what we focus on is a group coaching program. And what that looks like is a very structured framework. For me, this is the program that actually delivers the most, because it provides the ability to have material to consume, but not on your own. You have the ability to come and actually be brought through the program over a year period 4 times. You get to experience what it looks like in real time through all 3 stages, delivered over a month period, with calls every single week on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, where one call is built around the strategy, how to implement it, answering questions, breakout rooms to bounce ideas off people who are way more advanced than you. People never leave those calls without ideas of what to put in their child's, or what to use for their children's food next, ideas of what tools to use, how to bring them in the kitchen. You never leave a call not inspired. Our calls, sometimes people will come in, we'll say especially at the beginning of the program, we rate them on scales of 1 to 10. They come in at a 2, a 5, and they leave at like an 11 out of 10 with motivation and inspiration. That's what we deliver. Now, it also comes with over 200 recipes made for picky eaters that are focused on gluten and dairy free, that match the foods that children tend to prefer. And we teach you how to fade those in a way that makes sense for each family. Now, for our families that do decide that they want to join and they pay in full, they get actually access to a 1-to-1 sensory profile list, which means that we actually look at everything that their child is eating, and we match up the texture, the texture, the smell, or the color, the heat, the warmth, basically looking at what your child's preference is. Why is that important? When you have this knowledge, you actually make better decisions. It's pointless to give a child broccoli when they don't eat anything green. You need to figure out a way then to be to approach it differently. Maybe we don't start with broccoli. Maybe we start with cauliflower because they like the beige diet. So it is amazing when you have data knowledge, how much it improves your success. Now, if this is something that you are interested in, just make sure to either book a call, make sure to just go ahead and join. We would love to have you in. And those are the nuts and bolts of how it's delivered. 12-month access to all of the framework, all of the material, the workbook, access to all four of our coaches in delivery, which includes our lifestyle medicine physician that coaches on mindset, compassion, and lifestyle medicine, which is the only evidence-based holistic practice that physicians can be board certified in, that focus on a food first approach. It is, yes, it does exist. You can look up the ACLM for that. We also have our health coach and resilience coach. Her name is Sangeeta. She's absolutely amazing. Myself for strategy, and Jen, our parenting coach and picky eating expert, and also our community manager. So this is a very supported program. It is the least expensive of its kind, and it is one of the most successful programs out there. We literally guarantee that you will have lowered ATAC scores, or we give you private coaching. So how amazing, what kind of guarantee? Not too many others offer that. Any questions? Drop them below.